Oh, hi, Mr. E here. What if I still had 3/4 of this mug full and I wanted to share it with 5 of my friends? How would I do that? Today, you're going to learn in Module 2, Lesson 1 of Eureka Math, how to divide whole numbers from fractions. Stick around. Have a great day. So as you can see, I have 3/4 broken into 5 groups is how much? Notice I didn't use the word divided by or equals. The key to understanding how to do any math is to think of it as a language. And when you speak it fluently, problem solving becomes pretty easy. So we need to understand that this means my 3/4 of coffee in a mug. So it's not completely full, right? And I'm going to be sharing it into smaller equal groups of 5. Or into 5 groups. And I want to know how much will be in there. I can draw a picture like this. So what I have here is my coffee mug, and I've broken it into fourths, since I have 4 pieces. And 3 of them are full, and that's how much coffee I have to share. And then I'm going to be sharing this amount with 5 people, 5 friends, maybe pouring them into 5 smaller containers. How am I going to do that? Well, let's start by noticing that if each of these pieces are equal, and we'll assume that they're all equal, I can't equally divide 3 into 5. What I have to do is I'm going to have to split them. And I have to split them into an amount that goes into 5. So what can 3 and 5 both go into? I know. How about 15? So since 3 pieces and 5 pieces can find a common connection between 15, I just cut each of those pieces into fifths, which turned my entire amount into 20ths. So here you can see I've made an equivalent fraction of 15 20ths to 3/4, and now I can share these pieces with my friends. And let's see what that turns into. It seems that if I were to divide these up, that I can give all 3 of this amount. I can give this whole amount here to this friend. And then I can give these 3, this amount, to this friend. And then I can give this amount to this friend, because each section is 3 equal pieces, and that will end up giving everybody the same amount, which is all valued at, that's correct, 3/20ths. So here you can see we had our original 3/4 broken up into fourths that we had to cut into 20ths to make sure that everyone got the right amount. And of course, all we did was take the fourths and times it by the 5 groups to find that we needed 20ths. And then we shared it equally with each person, giving our answer of 3/20ths. So 3/4 of my coffee broken up into 5 smaller groups would mean I'd have to give everybody 3/20ths. Now I want you guys to understand that I moved this over here to keep this visual up. Feel free to pause the movie anytime you need to and rewatch something until you make sure you understand the language, that if I'm taking a fraction and I'm dividing it by a whole number, my number does get smaller. 3/20ths is a lot less than 3/4 because I'm cutting a small amount into 5 whole groups, and so therefore it ends up being smaller. And there's some tricks too we can learn about. We can see that 20 is a product of 4 times 5. And so we can assume that every time I have a fraction to start, like 3/4 or anything else, and I'm dividing by a whole number, I can multiply the denominator by the 5, write that as my denominator, and then my numerator just gets carried over. Isn't that interesting? It just got carried over. So we'll see later on if that holds true, but there's also another method. What I'd like to do is take a moment to focus on the number 5 and to understand what that means. That means 5 wholes, 5 whole amounts, 5 groups. And that can be written as 5 over 1. And so what I can do is I can write the inverse operation here. Whenever I'm dividing a whole number from a fraction, it's like multiplying the inverse of that number by that fraction. So as you can see, what I've done here is I simply take the fraction and I put it over here at the end. And then I'd write the inverse of my whole number. So 5, 1 would become 1/5. And then instead of division, I use multiplication. Now when you multiply fraction by fraction, you just multiply both numbers, numerator and denominator, straight across. So up here we have 1 times 3, and that's going to equal 3. And down below we have 5 times 4, and that's going to equal 20. Cool, huh? Now this would be a great time for you to try a couple problems on your own, maybe come up with some examples, some ideas, but try to transfer everything into language that makes sense to you. Whether it's coffee shared with friends, or cookies in cookie jars, or graham crackers broken up, and you only start with a fraction of something, but you're sharing it with multiple people, how would you go about doing it? On the previous section of this video, I showed you 3 different ways, and I like picture method because it shows me I understand. But then I've got some cool tricks I can use once I understand that. So here's a couple problems to give you a try, and I will just simply very quickly go over the answers right after you try them out. So don't forget to pause the video, interact with it, and try things ahead, and then check your understanding with what the video tells you. Good luck. So go ahead and pause the video and try these problems out on your own using whatever method you'd like, and then unpause the video and check your answers. Okay, so the answer to number 1 is 1/8. The answer to number 2 is 3/15, which of course can be simplified to 1/5. The answer to number 3 was 7/20. So check how you did and ask if you missed any, why you missed them. And if you have any questions, please bring them to your teacher, because I know he would love to help you figure out how to solve these problems. Until next time, keep rocking at math.